Hello, my beautiful souls, and welcome back to the podcast. So as we look, I literally just went blank, but it's like in this moment, I have another beautiful, profound, amazing soul that I get to connect you with, which makes me very happy. And the title of this podcast is called Speaking Your Truth as a Spiritual Leader. And what I like to do before I allow this queen to introduce herself, and by the way, her name is Marga, I always like to give you a little spiel of how I have interacted and co-created with the being of light on the other end. So with beautiful divine Marga, I found her in a profound container that I was in, just really allowing myself to ascend, grow, and evolve with my powerful spiritual truth. And Marga came in, okay, Marga is a woman of multiple talents. Let's just say that first and foremost. But what we're speaking today and what we're highlighting today is her ability to really connect your message, her ability to really help you find your soul tribe, her ability to really lay it down in a way that communicates your soul truth and your message and your gifts to the world. And I feel like, so many times as spiritual leaders, we have these really big, profound ideas, and we forget how to actually share it with the world. We forget how to market it. We forget how to brand it. We forget how to put it together. And Marga is a wizard in that space. And I know she's a wizard of so many other things. And obviously you will learn about them today. But for me, she's always been that beautiful queen that bridges the gap between literally service, and really being able to ground into calling in your soul family, your soul tribe, your soulmate clients. And I know she has this beautiful new membership that she's been launching that has literally just been blowing up like crazy. And so many beautiful souls have been jumping in. So that is my beautiful, just kind of spiel to introduce her. But now I would love you to come on and introduce yourself in this moment.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here. It's amazing and sharing with every one of you tuning into this podcast through time and space, either you're watching us or listening to the recording. It is so amazing to be here and to be sharing this moment with you. So I'm Marga. I was born in Costa Rica. I currently live in the Mayan Riviera with my family. I moved here a year ago. And years ago, I was this very courageous soul and extremely scared mother, making my way through life, seeing for my children, moving to entrepreneurship, because I knew that was my path to be able to live a life, to be able to live in, like a life of basically like tuning to the full potential of who I came here to be. It was my, let's call it in that moment, like a path to escaping to places, circumstances, relationships where my soul couldn't have flourished. And I just knew, even when I had such a low sense of who I was and my mission or any of this, I was coming out of religions and dogmatism and all of that. But I just knew that there was just so much more coming out of it. And in order to find myself, I needed to be financially free. And once I had that, then I could continue on my life adventure. And so this is the story of how I went from being in my kitchen with barely any food on my fridge in this beautiful farm in a rural area in Costa Rica, surrounded by trees, fruit trees, and the whole bit, in a very humble house, dreaming about having this platform one day, dreaming about being in front of people like you and share my message and inspire women all over the world to know that it is possible, to create a life where you flourish, where you make money, where you fulfill your mission, whatever that looks like. And so I moved from being a VA, virtual assistant, to getting my first clients, building a full portfolio of crazy leaders in the wellness industry in Costa Rica, launching all kinds of crazy experiences, shamanic yoga teacher trainings, quantum flow trainings, and things my mind couldn't even understand somehow, but I was just there to make it happen, to have those retreats be like sold out and the whole bit. And then I moved from that space once I had like a lot of experience in launching, selling, scaling, selling visions, into starting my first 5-figure business, which is a business as an online business manager for brands and people that are well on the other side of the world. My clients are mostly in Australia and New Zealand. That means they are 16 hours ahead. And for years we've been co-creating, so supporting these big missions where I fulfill my mission by, supporting these clients change and transform the world. And now in the recent year, year and a half, I've been supporting like clients also privately. And not so long ago, it's been like 7 months from the time that you're listening to this episode, I launched my English speaking brand as Mission Soul to support women and men who have, a big mission on earth to create a life, create wealth, and through their gifts via their online businesses. So between one thing and the other, there were a lot of mentors. There were a lot of bold decisions that didn't make sense. There was a lot of investing because I just knew that this was my path to accelerate my vision. And many miracles, many synchronicities, many tears, a lot of sweat, a lot of hard work. But here I am today, where I constantly see myself having this pinch me, is this my life moments, enjoying weekends on a rooftop with the love of my life, and seeing after my daughters and receiving messages from women and men all over the world saying, Marga, your life, your content, your membership, whatever it is, really inspired me to take action. And that is the most priceless thing that I get to enjoy in this moment in my life. So that's a little bit of Marga.
I love it. And I have to say, as you were speaking, I literally started to tear up because I just felt there's so much love in what you do and what you offer. And also, you're my first mama on the podcast that I've interviewed. And just to hear your story coming from a mom that was a single mom, and, it's just, I just want to take a moment to honor you and what you've allowed yourself to create for you and your family, and never giving up. And obviously, I know some of the leaps that you took to invest and create and do what you did. It was not always the easiest thing on like the logical mind, but you felt it in your heart and you knew it. And I just want to really express to, anyone and everyone listening, we all have our starting point, and sometimes we have multiple starting points. But if we really just continuously tune into the dream, and we continuously feel that there's more out there, the universe is going to guide us at the highest capacity. But it's also, you trusted that there was more for you, and you allowed yourself to just fly with it and allow yourself to see what happens. And I just want to honor you for a moment. So thank you
so much.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And then I will say, I have seen her Instagram stories, and her life looks legit and amazing. Yesterday, or like, I think it was like in the past 48 hours, she was like floating on a tube with her partner. And I'm just like, that is the life. But I want to say that because I feel like a lot of times, especially as, mission soul, spiritual leaders, we get so just enamored with ascension and growing and evolving and building our businesses that we actually forget to have fun. We actually forget to live. Guilty over here. So, you are in full expression. That's what I see. The first question that comes up is, obviously you've had so many layers to your story to grow and cultivate this life. Did you ever have a hard time being able to add in the fun to your life? Did you ever forget that? And if you did forget that, how did you come back to really creating that, whole experience that you have now?
Thank you. And this is a very powerful question. And so that was years of my life, first of all. The thing is that between saying yes to your soul and living a life of full alignment, there's usually I'm going to say like a turbulent, sometimes it feels like a turbulent journey of release all of the bullshit that you're not, all of the slavery coded within yourselves, that has you create this reality where all of a sudden you're like, wait a moment, like I just create an even worse reality for myself. And I had a lot of these very raw and intense moments, especially at the beginning of my journey, where for years, since I didn't know my self-worth and my self-value, I was undercharging. And since I am I was an overgiver, I had like an antenna at trying the best over takers. And so that usually looked like 12 to 16-hour days, So, it's very good that we're focusing like on this chunk, this chunk of the story and this chunk of the journey. Because even I remember having a conversation not so long ago with a client, and she was in one of these moments where it's like, you know what, I think I'm better just getting a job and quitting and like letting all of this go because it's not working, and a lot of mission souls have, and light workers have like this moment, especially like if you're 2 years in your business or 3 years in, the results are not quite there. And I remember like telling her, like, listen, like there also needs to be this energy of, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen no matter what. And I was sharing like what I'm going to share with you right now, which is that when I was in that stage between going from struggling paying a $200 rent to doing like a $300 monthly payment plan for the first program I ever invested. And then like more things started to come through, and like better house and the whole thing. I was doing like 4 clients, while 4 low paying clients and highly demanding, because basically I was the selling and marketing team, also client experience. I was like the super slave. And while also doing part-time at my daughter's school to be able to pay for private education, and so, yes, so many moments of seriously, even like, so this is like the extreme, right? Like needing to take breaks, to go out to the garden and cry, hiding from your children, to put yourself together, your remainings, and back into the computer to keep working, to now it's been like, like these moments of, again, like life confronting you with the burnout and why are you doing all of this? And finally, like having to release and release and release all of these slave programs until one day, like you start finally breathing again. And then from this point, okay, I still had more years like creating realities. Like, for example, after that, I started living better, magnetize better clients and the whole bit. But then I created an agency. And then in this agency, like I was like, again, like working so much until we, it's kind of like the whole thing here is detaching our sense of worth and the amount of work that we need to put out in order to earn a living. And this is like so like ingrained in so many of us. And so like, like there was that to be able to enjoy life. And nowadays, yeah, like whenever I see myself like feeling like, so that was the journey from the extreme misalignment to these little moments where you find yourself, where it's like, oh my God, like I'm not eating the amount of fruits that I should be eating. I am not going out to hug trees anymore. And
I did yesterday.
Right, like you need to it's also, it's now, it's like where you build the other side of this, where it's like, let me just like stand up for my value by having boundaries. Let me, like scream to life how much I'm worth it by disconnecting from my phone while I enjoy my plate of fruits. Right. And so it's a constant journey, and depending on where you're in your journey, you could find yourself like living like, oh my God, like it is so hard, it's impossible, there's not enough time. Why is it that I need to do so much to earn a living? To, like more of these things where it's like, whoa, wait a second, like why am I doing this? Oh yeah, to have the best life ever. Then why am I living in this misery, working so much and not enjoying? Does that make sense?
I love that you just laid that all out, because I feel like a lot of times people see an individual's life and it's like, oh, well, they're not struggling. They're not doing what I'm doing. And it's like, actually, what about the full picture that we've gone through to get to where we are in this space? So what I would love to ask you is like those moments when you were putting in the work, when you were investing, when you were, building the new creation, but before you saw it, what kept you on the dream? Like what kept you there? Even when it first wasn't coming in yet, like what kept you saying yes to going on the journey?
I think it's the fire. It's like the blazing fire of my soul. I would say it's always been that, because, and what I mean by that is just like these moments where you go like, yeah, this stubbornness, it's not mine. It comes from somewhere else. It's like, like this is why we talk about like mission souls. Like this is so real. It's like you're 8 months pregnant, and it's like you need to give birth to this baby. You need to give birth to this baby sooner or later. Do it, continue, go on. You're gonna give birth to this baby, and that 8 months can look like years.
I love the way that you put that too, because it's like eventually it's going to come out into the world, and you're just going to be like, I did it. But it's like allowing it to grow and be birthed. That's
and it's also like who put this baby here? Kind of thing. And this is how you're needed.
How old are your daughters, by the way?
So they are 14.
Okay.
14 and 15 and a half. So
okay.
Almost 16.
So I want to ask you, how does it feel? Literally, I want to say, how does it fucking feel to be this beautiful, powerful presence in their life? Just like showing them that the world is their oyster. Like, how does it feel? Because obviously when you first had them, you were growing into this version of you. But like, how does it feel to be able to be this force of nature in their life that shows them they could do anything and everything? How does it feel to you?
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now that it feels like an ascension journey. Okay. And since you've been on an ascension journey, and you know that sometimes it feels like, oh my God, put me out of this blender, like it's the same thing.
But someone keeps pressing the button and you're like, stop it, pull the cord out.
Exactly. Right, like it really does, because it's such a confronting mirror. Of how many times you find yourself like it's a paradox, I would say, because on one side you're like all of these blooming and dragon huge like phoenix like aspects of you, but then like you're also like have these very inquisitive eyes on you, a lot of needs. And so ultimately it feels like, it's a journey of acceptance, it's a journey of self-love, so that, we don't, at least for me, like to not fall into guilt. Because I think that, like, and maybe some of the audience can identify, like, I feel that for so many of us, we're like, we're overachievers. We want to give the most in the areas that we play in. But then like when it comes to motherhood is like really, really raw. There are so many of these like raw moments where, you know, like as much as you want to give them all and everything, and like you mess it up. And at the same time, it's understanding that it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, it's not that I want to bypass the whole thing and say they chose me.
Yeah.
they
But
chose
did.
me as their mother with all my flaws, you know,
Yeah.
because, well, it's
Yeah,
true.
it's true.
But also, so you're in a path of, you know, improving. But at the same time, there needs to be a lot of self-love and patience with yourself, acceptance. And so it's not, yeah, like it's quite the journey for sure. Yeah.
And they're teenagers, so that's a whole other bucket.
Yeah, and when it comes to the part that I feel that I do very, very good is the holding space for them emotionally. And so like really allowing them to express fully in their emotional spectrum. They were in alternative education systems where they didn't kill that part inside of them. And that's why I needed to work so hard, because I wanted that type of education for them. And so like, it's definitely not a bad experience with them as teenagers. I'm actually very grateful that they are at this age because I had them so young. So yeah, I couldn't be in the present moment for many, many years, having them like small, like being little kids. And so now it feels better. And at the same time, like, you know, it's like at some point I want to have a mentor to help me, you know, with some aspects of my motherhood and the whole bit, right? So it's like, oh, it's a path. Yeah.
And I feel like even you just saying that, you know, I'm not a mom yet. But like just from experiencing, I feel like even beautiful souls around me that have become moms, it's like there's this kind of wall up sometimes where they feel like they have to be the perfect mom. And for you being in that space of like, I would love to have help to help me with this, that is amazing. Because I feel like there's so many beautiful souls that can help guide us on all journeys. Every single thing, having kids, being with a partner, creating our business, it's all a journey. And 100%. We can all have such significant support to grow and evolve at a higher capacity. So what I want to just like highlight is for the fact that you're like, my kids are able to, you know, cultivate and express their emotions. Like, a big part of my healing was literally not being able to express my emotions throughout my life. So I think that is a whole just like home run right in that. Just, oh my God, that's powerful.
Yeah. I mean, I could see it. I was like, we invest so much money and time trying to, excuse my French, but unfuck ourselves from the education system and the way we grow up and how we are acknowledged or not in our homes. That let me actually try to do something about it. And this is where I chose a different educational system for them. And I can see the fruits, you know, that,
Mm-hmm. I love that. I'm just going to drop that in my motherhood bag.
Yeah.
Look for better schooling. So what I would love to do is I would love to dive in. First, the question that comes up is, now with this beautiful new membership that you have, really helping beautiful souls attract their clients and speak their message and really just cultivate this online presence, you know, what inside of you was like, this is who I am. This is my magic. Like, how did you come about finding this magic? Because I feel like the way that you do it is phenomenal. But when you first started doing it, was there any pushback of like, I can't do this, this is not for me? Or you were just so passionate and straightforward to it?
This is, and I love this question, and it really ties up like with the topic, which is like is speaking your truth. And I would say, you know, it's also like speak your message. So because the way everything like unfolded for me was the moment I am, okay, there were like three things I understood. Number one, I have a soul. And every time I pursue my purpose, whatever it's presented to me as something that excites me, it's my purpose. So just let me clarify that. And whenever I pursue that, like there's something there for me that pretty much makes me align with source wanting to come through, right? So understanding I am a channel, and we all are, not because we do light language or channel this or that. It's simply because our values, our ways, our way to conceive life, the things that we've gone through give a very specific shape to our container. And then there is source, always wanting to fill out things and wanting to come through us. But if source comes through me, and then it comes through you, even though we do, like, let's say we do the exact same thing, because of who we are, source is going to be expressed in a different way. 100%. And so by us removing the shit that is like preventing, and when I mean the shit, I mean our blocks around visibility, our excuses, our fears, our limitations, which they are real, they feel real, they are triggering and everything. But we need to understand that only by removing this, we are going to allow source to flow through us and manifest whatever it wants to manifest through us. And what we are here to express in the world, in whatever form it comes through each and every person, are ways that will align humanity to a world where there is more, excuse me, there is more justice. It's a compassionate world. Like the things that we see outside of us that we don't like and that hurt us, we are here to make something about it. Yeah. But the moment that we don't surrender these limitations and these whole things, we're actually preventing the evolution of the entire planet.
I love that you said surrender your limitations. That is amazing. Because I feel like so many times people fight them, but it's like, once you know you have them and you know that they're not yours, it's like, why not help those beautiful, not call the beautiful divine beings of light and God to help you just surrender them away. I love saying the word surrender. I was like, I surrender, bring it on in, give me that next level, let's go. I surrender all day long. And I always say this is one of the biggest things, is that when I first started my journey, it was at a point where I had nothing else to do but surrender, because there was nothing else for me at all. So I just surrendered and I allowed the universe to show me, and the universe showed me magic. Like who I am today, 5 years ago, I would have never known that I would have been this person. But it's allowing myself to surrender those limitations and surrender that limited identity that I was carrying so deeply on an ancestral line, and just watching my mom raise us and grow up in that space. I love that phrase, surrender your limitations. It's profound. Yeah,
and thank you so much for sharing this part also. And when it comes then to share your truth, share your message to the world, and the whole bit, that's surrendering your limitations around visibility, being seen, allowing yourself to be seen, and actually like shine more and actually be more unapologetically, and actually turn up the volume even more. It looks like doing all of that while you're scared, while you're, maybe your knees are trembling a little bit, but you just grab that phone and you say what you want to say, because there's someone that needs that out there, right? And so it's like, again, so it's like, in coming back like to your question, but it's like the moment that I uncovered that I had a message inside of me, is like that was like the catalyst of everything. And we all have a message coded within the blazing flames of our soul that is there waiting to be shared. And it's not there waiting to be shared, it's like they're like pulsating. And the moment you can like get in touch with this message, and once again, yes, surrender, right? So even when it's uncomfortable, even when you think, oh my God, like who's gonna see this, or I should start blocking people, but you still do it, Like at that moment, it's like when we gain courage, because it's not like, oh, let me just wait for courage to come and then I'll show up. No, it's you be courageous and then courage builds. And that's how you go every single day of your entrepreneur life.
100%. I always tell people, I'm like, when I first started speaking my message, I would record videos like 12 times before I even put them out. Now I don't do that. But it was like, I didn't feel confident in sharing my message, or I felt like I had to have the perfect wording. And I was really honed into the coaching industry. And I felt like I had to be this button up person wearing blazers and all the things. And I couldn't talk too loud. I couldn't be too just me. So I was very just like, well, this is how you build your business. And I was like, this isn't fucking Melissa. What the hell? Like, no way. But I started having fun with it. I started having fun with it. And I feel like as you were speaking, that blazing fire inside of us, you know, what came through, it's like loving a partner. It's like, you can't wait to see your partner. You're just like, you love being with your partner, but that's the same thing with our message. It's like, you love it so much that you cannot wait to express it to the world, or you cannot wait to walk down the aisle with it. It's like, put a ring on it. It's like, put a ring on your message and like commit to it, commit to the message. And what's coming through right now is like, even if you don't know, like, this is like my full message, it's like you start with that one thing, and your message evolves. It gets deeper, it gets more expansive. But if you don't start, it's like, you'll never know. And I think a lot of people ask me this, like, Melissa, how do you keep going? How do you keep putting your work out and things of that sort, and just like living life too? But I'm like, because I love it. Like I love and adore being able to spread my message. I love and adore, you know, seeing clients and community, their mind just going, and like the limitations just like fading away.
Yeah.
Because I was able to birth this message into the world to help them. And that's what we're here to do. You know, we're here to come before others so that they can come before others and come before others, and open up this whole beautiful, just like trailblazing community of spiritual leaders and earth angels and starseeds, however you want to see yourself and call yourself.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, like the last part to this is that, you know, like, because at the end of the day, none of this is about you. And that's the thing, you know, like even like the same thing, like the things that express through you are not about you. Your message to the world is not about you, but it's about being in this, like, again, like allowing the forces of creation to create. And also it's about all of the people that really need it. Right? Like my message expresses in a way, even like if you have the same message, right? But it's going to express in one way through me than through you, because of the things that we go through. And so it's like, sister, none of this is about you, and you know it. None of this is about the money, even though the money is part of it. None of this is about building a business. You know, none of this is about us, but it is about that what we allow to flow through us. And then, yes, the most delicious part is when you're like, I love my life. Yeah. You know, let me make my business an art expression of my joyous, of my most exciting joy, you know, like of my utmost soul expression. And then it's like, oh my God, you know, like, sure, we still need to work it, and you know, the whole bit and all of it, but this is like such a real thing. It's like, okay, at this stage, we are not with the 8-month pregnancy anymore. Yeah. We are like breastfeeding the baby and receiving these oxytocins like pumps, and you're like, oh my God, this feels amazing.
And taking like 700 pictures of your baby. Look at the baby, look at my baby, did you see my baby? Yeah. It's powerful when we can allow ourselves to get to that point and share in that experience. But one of the things that I always remember is when I would get out of bed to like spread my message when I first started, it was thinking about the people that were going to receive that and how it was going to help them grow and evolve and expand that day. And it was like, even if it's just one person, Melissa, I don't care.
Yeah, because I think that we all have these stories, but there was something that someone said that made such a profound difference in our lives. And this is the thing, like, we need to understand that all of us have like this potential. There could be something that you say or the way that you say it that like change someone's life. Like, I wouldn't be where I am if those courageous women that inspire my journey
100%.
wouldn't have turned on their camera and speak, even if it wasn't perfect or whatever. And then like look at the domino effect, like the ripple effect, right?
And I love to do this as well. It's like, if you are, starting to share your message, and you might see someone that is just like, their message is pristine, their platform is good, and you're just like, damn, they got it down. It's like, scroll back to the beginning of their content.
Yeah.
Scroll back to the beginning of their content, because it's probably looking a little like all of it. Every single one of us start at some point where we had no idea. It's like walking in the classroom for the first day and we have no idea what we're going to be learning. Obviously, maybe it's a history class, but it's like, we don't know if we're going to pass it. We don't know what's going to go down. We don't know if it's really hard or if it's really easy, but we're just walking in and we're trusting that we are going to make the best out of the experience and show up for it. Show up for it in all like delicious honesty. And it's like, there's the word exposing is coming up, and it's like showing up in a way that's just going to expose our truth even more. Because every time we get on that platform and we speak our truth, we come back to our soul at a higher capacity. We remember more, we invite in more, and we just keep growing and evolving and expanding. So, not only are we sharing our message with the world, but we're also creating this genuine bond with the universe, being the vessel that we are, being this beautiful connection to source, to flow through us. And we're coming back home to ourselves. So it's like, it's a win-win.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, that's so good though. So before we end this beautiful podcast, I want to respect your time as well. What I would love to ask you actually is, if someone is just starting to cultivate their message, they're starting to get out there and slowly start, honing in and calling in their audience, like, what are the 3 tips you would kind of give them to go into that direction, in that space? And what's coming through is like holding the confidence behind it as well.
Amazing. Okay, so number 1, be a human. And just know that because you're a human, you have a story. And your story, it doesn't matter how it looks like you don't need to have a crazy hero's journey, like sometimes we compare our story and think that we don't have a good enough story to tell, just because maybe we were too privileged, or maybe because there are parts that are still writing. So let go of that and just tune into the fact that you are a human, and humans love learning from humans. When there is something that is relevant for you or was relevant for you, share that. Just start and share your things. Notice and just start and share those things. Okay, so that is going to be like number 1. Remember that your story is very powerful, because we love learning from stories, and what's significant to you, it's significant to others. So that'll be number 1. Number 2, it's like just tuning for a moment into the fact that everything that you share, like it gets to be seen because of the world where we live in, because of social media. So you could be sharing a meme, or you could be sharing something that inspired you. And in either way, you are being an influencer. This is why in some circles in marketing, like, people talk about nano influencers, because the thing is that, like, there is no person that you have in your awareness field of, in your field of awareness, where it's like no one in your life, it's there by coincidence, and you're not by coincidence or chance in the life of others. So these little things like do have the potential to change the world. And so if you have internet, and if you can speak, and you have a phone, you have a roof over your head, and you have running water, like you have anything, like you have everything that you need to start changing the world. And in any way that this look like is very powerful. So notice how you're already influencing and being an influence in the life of others with the humility that comes with it. And just be more intentional around the things that you share. If you start sharing just about Shih Tzu dogs, like in a year from now, you're going to be known for, like you're going to be someone that, oh my God, I learned so much about Shih Tzus from Marga, and I can't wait to get my own Shih Tzu. And so it's the same thing. It takes like consistency over time and, sharing about what matters to you to build that thing of, oh, she's known for that. So there's that. So that'll be like number 2, acknowledge your power of influence that you have now. And start where you're at. And then the third thing is remember that in action, you find clarity. And that it is always easier to change directions on a car when it's moving. So rather than like, and this really comes also from experience, you could be years stuck in, how am I going to share this, that, like they can really be years. And so like, rather than doing that, just choose messy action over no action. Choose better, like choose done over perfect, right? Like it's as it says, like done is better than perfect. And embrace incompleteness. Embrace incompleteness. No one is asking you to have, to have it all figured out when you start. And so the more you tune into that and you live with your heart's intention, I just want to share whatever it's important to me or relevant to me. And if there's something for people that, could be listening, let me share that. You're going to win in the long term because it's a muscle that you build.
It is such a muscle. Every single one of those was amazing. So amazing. And what came through is when you were speaking about influencing, I feel like, and I don't want to speak for everyone, but I feel like there's this negative connotation around influencers and things of that sort. But I feel like if you have any type of business, any type of platform, you are influencing at some point. And I think for me, what comes through is like owning it. Because what if you chose to own that you actually get to influence the world in really powerful, profound ways? Like, what if you started waking up and knowing that, we look at all these big celebrities and just people within the world, and it's like, yes, they have a platform, but I don't have that platform. It's like, actually, you do. Actually, you do. It doesn't matter if you have 100 people, 1,000 people, like 100,000 people. It's like you have a platform, and when you were saying that, I had just like experiences that just like came up in my mind of when I was a health coach many, many years ago. Every single day, I used to crack my egg yolk on my Instagram, and people literally started sending me like videos of them cracking their egg yolk. And that it was like literally influencing people to experience eggs at a different capacity. But like I was doing it because I loved it. I wasn't doing it because of like, hey, look at me. It was like just because it was something that I loved to do. And I started sharing hummingbirds a lot. So I always get these messages of like, every time I see a hummingbird, unless I think of you. And it's like, and I just share it because I love it. And it's like, I've had people that come into my space and they're like, I come to your Instagram, because I know that I'm going to feel lighthearted after. I'm going to feel more expansive. And it's like owning that we have such like something that it's coming up for a reason, is that I started to own that I'm sunshine on this earth. I started to really own that and feel into that and trust that. And I feel like owning those little aspects of me helped you even show up in more sunshine, helped me cultivate my message in a way that really connected to me. So there's such a beauty when we own that we have the gift to transform someone's day, someone's life. And it's like, it's not just little old me syndrome. It's I came here to help people grow, evolve, ascend, and come back into their truth. So,
100%,
so
100%.
good.
And you know, like the last part that I want to share, you know, around what you also just said is that I'm here also to call out those of you that are on the other side of the screen being like, yeah, but no, you do have a sense of responsibility. Yeah. If you have a phone and you have a voice and you're not using it, what are you doing? Are you going to go and complain about the things that are wrong in the world? Yeah. You need to know that you're way more powerful when you focus your attention on something. And if that something is something that you want to empower and see in the world, then that's what influencing is really all about. Because I'm sorry, but I am not going to be the person that goes to the grave thinking, oh, I wish I would have been more unapologetic, yeah, and showed up even more radiant so that I could have reached more people and empower more women. I'm not going to be that person like thinking, oh, I wish I wouldn't have thought so much about X and so to utilize my voice and my platform. I'm not going to be that person. And I really invite you to not be that person either. Yeah. Because if you feel something like there is a truth inside of you that needs to come out, then that is the path.
I fucking love that you got all spicy in that. I love it. I love it. Because I feel like so many people won't go there. And I truly always say I will not sugarcoat anything for anyone. There's no reason for it. I had to unsugarcoat it for myself to get my shit together. So I'm going to be the one that's like, if you want to get your shit together, then yes, you can get your shit together. It might take a month. It might take a couple months, but you're going to get it together if you keep going after it. But it's like that desire inside to keep going after it. So I love that. I love that I love it. And you felt the fire. If you're watching the video, you could even see her demeanor, just like, what's up? I'm going to tell you straight up.
It is.
As it is. And I feel like we need so much more of that because, it's like walking around on eggshells. Like, oh, if I speak too forward, am I going to lose clients? Am I going to lose my community? But it's like, no, you're actually just going to call in your soul family. You're actually just going to call in the people that actually want to take the journey and want to do the work. And that's who you want to work with. You don't want to work with the people 100%. That are not ready. Maybe in a month or 2 months or 6 months, they'll be ready. But us speaking in our full truth, that's what's going to cultivate, sparking that inside of them. So,
yeah, and it's gonna, like the more you are, and the more you show up like this unapologetically in your platforms, and you allow yourself to fully express in your platforms, the more you're gonna have a community that you love and adore. Because this is the ultimate, like, other side that we didn't even touch on this conversation, but it's on the other side of you sharing your message and the whole bit, and you speaking your truth and just starting where you're at and all of it. It's a reality where you're surrounded by people that love you. Yeah. Like your community, online community all over the world, they love you. They receive so much from you and you from them. And it's such a expansive feeling. So why not? Why, it's like, yes, that is a gift. That is the gift that comes, and it is amazing. I wish every person in the world experienced the ecstatic joy of having their own community, their own movement of amazing humans just like you. You're an amazing human out there. There are a bunch of other people like you. And so it's like, build a community that you love and adore, where we all get to vibe together in our own way and grow together. Take the universe by storm.
I agree. It is nothing like being in a community of people that resonate with you and your message and show up for it and show out for it. And even the souls that are like, it's 2 a.m., but I'm up. It's like, damn, okay, I love you. But I I just want to say thank you for being so real and raw and open with your story and your message and the magic that you bring here. And I also want to share with my community, what magic are you currently working on? What can you help them and guide them with? What, programs and services are you kind of cultivating and offering right now?
Amazing, thank you. Okay, so if you are a spiritual powerhouse, if you know that you want to create a life of wealth through your gifts, whether you're a psychic, a channeler, or just a soul with a big calling. And okay, so here are some of the ways that we can co-create right now. And if you would love to get more clarity around how to communicate and have pretty much like everything that you have to offer, be able to translate it into content that attracts soulmate tribe and clients, then I have an amazing masterclass coming that is called Communicating with Clarity. So no matter where you're at, like if you listen to this in a year from now, the masterclass is going to be somewhere. So you can always private message me. And then I have an amazing program coming, which is called Clarity of Message, where you're going to be able to uncover your living coded message for the world and understand the dynamics of messaging, putting content out there on Instagram. And pretty much this is what kicks in you being able to build your community or your movement. And then I also have the Client Attraction Playground membership, where is a place where we demystify marketing, we make it fun, and we get in touch with, we pretty much you get practices to download content that your audience really needs to hear. And then you receive guidance and a strategic plan every month to be able to attract clients using, all of those downloads, using those pieces of content. There's an amazing community of people, excuse me, just like you and just like us inside. So this is like a low ticket membership. Is an amazing way. And if you're someone that's calling in scaling your mission into multiple 5 figures, and you want someone that really gets multidimensionality, soul with the dynamics of marketing and selling and creating a scalable product suite, then we can work privately with you. Direct message me and we start a conversation to see where you're at and work privately with you.
Perfect. I love it. What's your Instagram?
I am at Missioned Soul. So Missioned Soul, you're welcome to find me there. And or margavalverde.com if you want to read my full story and get the Instagram link.
Okay, perfect. As well. And I'll put all of her contacts in the show notes as well, so you'll be able to easily find her services, whatever she gives me, I will put it in the show notes. Yeah. But I want to say thank you for just being this beautiful divine light in my life. I love you. You're amazing.
I love you too, and I feel so honored and flattered to be here. Oh my God! Yeah, if you're in Melissa's tribe, then you must be someone amazing. Whoever you're watching, like this is your message for your audience. So because you attract such beautiful people, like, so I'm like delighted to be here in front of your audience. Like,
I received that. I received that. Oh, thank you. I just want to say thank you to everyone that has, graced us with their presence and listened to this powerful, profound podcast today, or video if you're watching the video as well. And the last thing that comes from me is there's no better way to start than just starting and playing and bringing this beautiful, playful energy behind it. What would be fun today to share? What would be exciting today to share? What would blow my mind that I could share today, right? So that would be for me. And do you have any last bits over there, Marga?
Yes, the same thing. This is your playground. You get to create it instead of am I gonna sell something today? When you back it up with this energy of, when you show up with this energy of, I wonder who's coming. And you do everything in your mission, like with this sense of, like this is my playground, then the word better watch out, because this is my playground.
I love it. And when you say that, I literally get the visual of like my elementary playground, where it's like the bell rang, I'm going out, I'm on the monkey bar. Like that's literally what it took me to. And I it's so innocent. It's so innocent. It's just like, hey, do you want to play tetherball with me? Hey, do you want to build your soul mission grid today? Do you want to build your soul mission business today? Like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And I love that. And I invite everyone that connects with that to take it through their day and see what happens and what transforms.
Yes.
So I thank you. Thank you for being here. I love you. You're amazing. And y'all definitely reach out to her, connect to her, follow her, because she has powerful material, messages, containers, and her life is amazing. So take a little look into her life as well. And with that said, I will leave everyone here, and thank you for listening and watching. Bye, my loves.
Bye.